Once again, we'll be revisiting our good old friend, Brightside. Paleontology Bingo is absent once again, unfortunately, but the next paleontology video that we're going to review is going to have Paleo Bingo, so watch out for that. Anyways, enjoy.
Hello, and welcome to the fight of the century.
This is the second paleontology video that I review, the first one being also from Brightside. The third one is from Americano, from what I remember. This is just a nostalgia trip at this point. By the way, this video was made in 2021 of July, and so Brightside basically just doubled down on their mistakes and somehow made even worse videos.
Today in our ring is Tyrannosaurus Rex, the king of all dinosaurs that lived on Earth about 70 million years ago.
Okay, now it's possible that the T-Rex did live 70 million years ago, according to this Wikipedia page. However, the model itself is just completely awful. First off, the head is too small in proportion to its body size. Second of all, pronate wrists. And third of all, just look at those elongated limbs, man.
T-Rex was one of the largest terrestrial predators ever existed.
In fact, it is the largest terrestrial predator to have ever existed. The second one is the Giganotosaurus.
Even its name, Rex, means a king.
Makes sense because it is the apex predator of its environment. Hopefully, the T-Rex isn't a mindless maniac like the one from Jurassic Fight Club.
And a round of applause for its opponent, Spinosaurus, a large lizard-like dinosaur that's 20 million years older than T-Rex.
Which implies that the Spinosaurus lived 90 million years ago, which is incorrect. Spinosaurus lived around 100 to 94 million years ago. Or even 93 million years ago, but definitely not 90 million years ago. And the Spinosaurus looks like the one ripped from Monsters Resurrected.
Sail on its back. With its help, Spinosaurus could scare away predators.
I am unable to comprehend how dumb this statement is. Even in July 2021, this statement is just completely baseless. It is likely that Spinosaurus used its sail for thermal regulation. By the way, here is the Spinosaurus from 2021, so why don't you use that instead? You're welcome, Brightside.
And appear even larger than it actually was.
Man, Brightside, back in 2021, was still making those completely insane statements that just leave people flabbergasted. Even more flabbergasting than Jamie Oliver's egg fried rice.
And with that sail and tail, it was one of the few dinosaurs that could swim.
Spinosaurus is just a good swimmer among dinosaurs. Every dinosaur can swim, except for probably Ankylosaurs, but I wouldn't be surprised if Ankylosaurs can also swim.
We'll have 5 rounds plus a bonus round.
Judging by how they treated the Megalodon versus Megapiranha fight, I'm probably going to say that they're just going to try and clutch the spine of the win. Keep watching to see if my prediction is correct.
The challengers will get 1 point for each round, and then they will step into the ring for a final battle.
It's just going to be incredibly gamified. Just like how Mr. Beastified creators make gamified videos for kids.
The first round is size. The biggest individual of T-Rexes was Scotty.
As of 2021, that's correct. However, since then, more Tyrannosaurus Rex have been discovered to be larger than Scotty. First with 80 Cope after its mass had been calculated, and then there's Goliath.
Its legs alone were taller than a basketball hoop.
Which is around 10 feet. Okay, I'll leave that alone.
And if T-Rex straightened its back, it would be taller than a 4-story building, bigger than the tallest diving board at the Olympics.
Dinosaur size determined by mass, not length. Also, can we roll the clip of the T-Rex roaring at the top of its lungs?
And if T-Rex straightened its back, and if T-Rex straightened its back, and if T-Rex straightened...
T-Rexes cannot roar like mammals. At most, they probably would hiss or growled or bellowed or something, but not roar like a mammal.
It's the height of almost 7 adults.
You mean the length of 7 adults? Okay. I'm pretty sure that is just another rookie mistake.
Its feet left footprints on the ground the size of a large dog, and although its forelimbs were only 3.5 feet long,
yet it's shown to be much longer here thanks to it being just pronated in general and just disproportionate. And the T-Rex's short forelimbs are probably used to prevent other T-Rexes from biting them in territorial disputes. There is a reason why T-Rexes didn't have big arms, instead had gigantic faces.
T-Rex remained the most dangerous dinosaur of its time. Spinosaurus walked and ran, leaning toward the ground.
Spinosaurus had a lower posture. That is why. Man, bright side, just let the Spinosaurus be the majestic water dragon it is. Monsters Resurrected is not a good source for the Spinosaurus.
It was longer than a school bus. Its skull was one of the largest of any dinosaur that ever existed, and looked like the skull of a modern crocodile.
This reminds me of the Lizard Man from I don't know what series. Oh, it's Gaming Beaver's video of Ultimate Epic Battle Simulator.
It was up to 5 feet long.
Even by like 2021 standards, it's about 6 feet long. But that is considered to be basically the absolute maximum. More recent estimates suggest a length of 5.2 to 5.5 feet.
Spinosaurus had a sail on its back the size of an adult human.
It's not the size of an adult human. Look at this. Did this guy mean the height of the Spinosaurus sail? This is just...
Its hind legs were much smaller than those of T-Rex, and were only 25% of the length of the entire Spinosaurus body.
But we're shown the outdated Spinosaurus with those ostrich legs.
Its tail was elongated and more massive than that of T-Rex because of the tilted gait. The long tail at the back had to balance the heavy body in front.
This Spinosaurus is incredibly top-heavy. I'm surprised that sheer mass and weight did not break the rope yet. If the Spinosaurus is going to be 22 tons, that is super outdated by the way, but I believe this Spinosaurus weighs 22 tons.
So, Spinosaurus was bigger than T-Rex, and the first point goes to it.
Of course it had to go to the Spinosaurus. Who would have thought that Brightside was Spino glazing?
1-0. Moving on to the next category, weight.
Of course, this video says that size is determined by length and not the mass or weight of the creature.
No, I mean how heavy. If we put T-Rex on one scale, we would need at least 4 big SUVs to balance it out. 14 tons.
While this estimate isn't as ridiculous as it seems, I don't think any T-Rex could have reached even 13 tons, let alone 14 or even 15. This T-Rex is just queso at this point.
The heaviest land animal is the African elephant, but it loses to the ancient dinosaur twice. But for its bones, the weight could have been even greater.
What do you mean that for its bones, its weight could have been even greater? Does that mean that the skin has negative mass?
You serious?
They were hollow, so T-Rex could stay fast and agile. Otherwise, it would be almost twice as heavy and way slower.
Okay, now greater mass doesn't necessarily have to be a good thing. As you can see in Goji Center's Hall of Shame, unnecessarily great mass would cause the creature to die crushed under its own weight.
When Spinosaurus ran after its prey, it caused a small earthquake.
How can the Spinosaurus jump so effortlessly? It was too heavy to jump even at like 7 tons. Also, with that outdated Spinosaurus, causing an earthquake is basically normal. Just look at Monsters Resurrected.
Its weight was 1 SUV more than T-Rex's, about 18 tons in total.
Outdated? 7 tons?
And just like T-Rex, Spinosaurus had hollow bones, but it was still heavier than a large cargo helicopter.
Spinosaurus actually had denser bones to help it in terms of swimming.
So in this round, Spinosaurus wins again.
Hopefully, the T-Rex can now clutch some points back because the Spinosaurus is just... oh man, having an unfair glazing right now.
And the score is now 2-0. And the next round is agility.
Hopefully, the T-Rex can also take this one because, you know, the T-Rex is a Coelurosaurian, which has a ilia that causes the T-Rex to be able to pivot around a lot. Meanwhile, the Spinosaurus is a Carnosaur, which is generally less agile than a Tyrannosaurus. Giganotosaurus, Carcharodontosaurus, etc. They are also Carnosaurs. I mean, both of them are faster than the Spinosaurus and faster than the T-Rex, but are less agile.
Spinosaurus's top speed was about 21 miles per hour.
I doubt Spinosaurus would be even faster than a T-Rex. Spinosaurus had shorter legs than the Rex, and Rex had a top speed of like 21 miles per hour once again. 22 would have been possible too, but definitely not 21 miles per hour for Spinosaurus, given its short hind limbs.
In general, modern dogs can run at this speed. The fastest man in the world, Usain Bolt, can reach speeds of 27 miles per hour.
That is just Usain Bolt's top speed. And also it's 44 kilometers per hour. Sorry for being a bit nitpicky here.
So, Spinosaurus could catch up with him over a long distance.
That's if the Spinosaurus could sweat properly and if Usain Bolt could manage that top speed, which I doubt he could. And the Spinosaurus could not either. They both just tire each other out to death before the Spinosaurus could even hunt Usain Bolt.
But Spinosaurus was also one of the few dinosaurs that could swim.
Like I said earlier, that applies to every other dinosaur as well, probably barring Ankylosaurs, but I wouldn't be surprised if Ankylosaurs could swim as well.
This gave it the ability to eat fish and the ancestors of modern stingrays.
Butterfly rays are a type of stingrays, so I guess this is fine.
And if Spinosaurus was cornered by other predators, it could always escape and hide in the water.
Not like the Spinosaurus has any predators, but okay.
At the same time, T-Rex could only walk on the water as deep as its legs would allow.
Man, the T-Rex stare of doom.
Scientists argue how fast T-Rex could run. Some say it was 11 miles per hour. In that case, Usain Bolt could easily run away from it. Another estimate is 45 miles per hour.
Which, in terms of current paleontology standards, would wind up breaking the T-Rex's legs. There really is no way that a T-Rex could reach this high of a speed.
At that speed, T-Rex could get from New York to Philadelphia in about 2 hours.
That's if it can maintain its speed and not pass out. The T-Rex is basically a marathon runner at this point, except that it's constantly sprinting.
It was as fast as a modern car. If you met a T-Rex in a safari jeep, chances are you wouldn't escape from it.
Given how bright-sized depiction of T-Rex is just incredibly awesome, bro, like in Jurassic Park, the driver should have seen the Rex coming and just drive off much earlier. Then it could get away.
Also, T-Rex was very maneuverable. It used its tail to keep its balance. And by turning its tail, it could turn and change direction very quickly.
More like the ilia makes it be able to pivot around 180 degrees with just one leg.
For that speed and agility, T-Rex gets its first score, 2-1, in favor of Spinosaurus. And we move on. Strategy.
Wouldn't that just be classified as intelligence and weaponry? I mean, the T-Rex has problem-solving skills, as well as a bone-crushing bite, meanwhile Spinosaurus has those claws.
The strategy of Spinosaurus is hard to determine because of the variety of its food. It's somewhat similar to grizzly bears. Spinosaurus mostly fed on fish, and it got its food by grabbing small fish, rays, and other marine animals.
As you can see here, the fish has no will to live. because once it lost to the Spinosaurus when it comes to tic-tac-toe, it just voluntarily jumped into the Spinosaurus' jaws to get swallowed. I'm pretty sure a fish would try and swim away first, if it has any self-preservation instincts at all.
Scientists claim Spinosaurus was highly intelligent because it would often eat things it was unable to get on its own.
There's a reason why the Spinosaurus and Carcharodontosaurus coexisted for so long. It's because they served completely different niches and didn't have to compete with each other. Spinosaurus hunted fish, Carcharodontosaurus hunted land herbivores of its environment.
Yes, these dinos waited until some larger predators had finished their meal and feasted on leftovers.
Basically, in short, you're implying that the Spinosaurus is a strict scavenger. Well, except for when it hunts fish. You get the idea, right?
Something we still do at my house on Tuesday nights. The main tool of Tyrannosaurus was the jaw. It had the power of a crocodile's bite. That means it could easily break even very large bones.
I'm pretty sure that the T-Rex had a more powerful bite force than a crocodile, however, I could be incredibly wrong. Also, the T-Rex used its bone-crushing bite to hunt herbivores and not just chew bone like that. Is this some sort of prehistoric bone-chewing competition that I haven't heard of?
And you wouldn't be safe even if you were sitting in a car. That's enough bite force to bend metal. The second technique of T-Rex was ramming.
Not car ram, but head ram. It's just made for toddlers who don't know any better. This is just a visual that is keeping them engaged.
Imagine a big truck coming at you at high speed. Such a battering ram could take down even a brick wall. Besides that, it had powerful limbs and a tail. It used them to knock the opponents off their feet.
How can this paleontology video be real, bro? T-Rex using his tail to slap away. What? Knock their opponents off their feet.
I have no words. Nothing.
And then hold them motionless on the ground.
Is this some sort of territorial dispute that has gone horribly wrong? Is Brightside from another planet?
So T-Rex was a more brutal and capable fighter.
You know, wouldn't it just use its bone-crushing bite to disable the Spinosaurus' weapons and then go for the kill? I have no idea how this T-Rex tail-slapping strategy and then just... Honestly, I need to go to the calm down corner. Hopefully Paintbrush doesn't just suddenly burst into flames.
It gets a point for that, and the score becomes tied 2-2. And now it's time for the bonus round, the Audience Choice Award. Meanwhile, dinos are having a little break.
Oh, it's gonna be a bunch of Hollywood models versus each other. I am at a loss for words with this paleontology video. I'm glad that I'm here to re-review it, just to experience how terrible it is once again.
T-Rex is a true pop culture star. You may have seen it in movies, games, and even memes.
Like how Medium Purple got popular because I memed on her death. Or like how I made Blue Green popular because of his relationship with Medium Purple.
Once, T-Rex's face was even on postage stamps.
How is this video even real at those points? I am unable to comprehend this.
And the world's most famous fossils, of course, it's T-Rex skeleton in the American Museum of Natural History.
T-Rex is the most famous dinosaur, probably because of Jurassic Park.
But such popularity led to many myths about it. T-Rex could see motionless objects. You couldn't get away from it by just standing still.
Okay, which is correct, unlike in Jurassic Park, where the T-Rex cannot even see motionless objects, man. It's just dumb.
What's more, its eyesight was 13 times better than humans.
Okay, that statement is fine, and I'll leave that alone.
And its sense of smell was excellent. It could track you like a hound dog. Unlike T-Rex, Spinosaurus is neither a movie nor a museum star.
Oh, great. You just made Jurassic Park 3 Spinosaurus cry in the corner.
Today, there's no complete skeleton belonging to this dinosaur. Now scientists are looking for Spinosaurus's fossils. So, in the near future, we'll probably find out how epic this guy really was.
Or, as I like to say, how majestic the Spinosaurus actually is.
The bonus round has no effect on the score, so we're still tied 2-2. The last round will decide everything. Combat tools.
Hopefully, the T-Rex is able to clutch it. Because if the Spinosaurus wins, I'm just going to... I don't know at this point.
Spinosaurus used its teeth to get food.
As with any other predator, I don't think that's surprising at all.
They were slightly bigger than your finger and as sharp as a needle. And there were 7 of them at the very tip of the jaw. But they were too short to do any damage to big dinosaurs.
I mean, they could potentially do a bunch of minor damage, but like not very catastrophic like that of a T-Rex. That is why Spinosaurus also hunted fish. They have conical teeth which are used to grapple slippery prey.
The rest of the teeth were deep in the jaw and were used for chewing. Other dinosaurs feared the claws of Spinosaurus. One of his thumbs could be as long as the distance from the tips of your fingers to your elbows.
Even amongst its weight class, the Spinosaurus' neck posture makes it quite vulnerable to biting from other predators. The battle is actually quite unfair.
And this thumb ended with a sharp hook-shaped claw. These claws could leave a big mark on the skin of even the biggest dinosaurs.
Okay, you have a point there. But against a T-Rex, the T-Rex's sheer bulk would be able to resist much of the damage.
Now, let's look at the fighting tools of Spinosaurus's opponent. We know about the strength of T-Rex's bite,
which is the T-Rex's main weapon. The other weapon being its ramming capabilities with its head. That is what throws stuff off balance, not the tail.
But it could have been even greater if their cone-shaped teeth had been stronger.
What? Bro, what are you talking about, man?
T-Rex had thick, serrated teeth used for crunching. I don't know where you got that conical teeth T-Rex statement from. Was it from another universe? Or was it from any lad?
They were the size of a large banana. This made them extremely sharp at the ends, but their enamel was pretty thin. Another tool were the claws. They were razor sharp and as big as a TV remote control.
I don't think T-Rex would need to use its arms for fighting because they're so small. In fact, the T-Rex's arms were used to prevent other T-Rexes from biting them because they're so small. Territorial disputes, man.
And its tail was so massive that its blow could not knock down even a very large dinosaur. Time to let our fighters back into the ring.
There's still like 1 minute till this video ends, but I felt like there's like 1 hour before this video ends. It's just outrageous, man.
During the break, T-Rex chased a small dinosaur and ran out to the coast. Spinosaurus was waiting in the water looking for some snack.
By the way, I'm pretty sure an adult T-Rex would not want to hunt something as small as that, let alone chasing after it for so long. If anything, an adult T-Rex would prefer to ambush large herbivores like Triceratops and Edmontosaurus.
T-Rex rushes forward first. It reaches its maximum speed and tries to use its battering ram, but Spinosaurus manages to bounce aside.
More like sidestep because, the Spinosaurus is too heavy to jump.
Agile T-Rex turns around quickly and knocks Spinosaurus off its feet with its massive tail.
I can feel my brain just rotting away, man.
Then it tries to crush it with its foot. But Spinosaurus begins to swing its limbs around and scratches T-Rex. This gives it time to get on its feet.
I'm pretty sure when the T-Rex crushes the Spinosaurus' windpipe, it's over. The Spinosaurus could try and claw on the T-Rex's legs, but the T-Rex would just withstand all those damage and then eventually suffocate the Spinosaurus.
But in the next second, T-Rex bites it hard. Spinosaurus decides to retreat towards the water. T-Rex chases it until it's up to its neck in the water.
Is this T-Rex even real? The T-Rex would not try and chase after the Spinosaurus after the Spinosaurus retreated. There's really no point unless the T-Rex really wants to fight to death like in Jurassic Fight Club.
It can't chase it any longer because it's not that good at swimming. Spinosaurus doesn't want to continue the fight and swims away to a safer place.
Which is actually quite realistic for an animal. I'll give Brightside that. Once an animal loses in a territorial dispute, there's really no point in trying to get that territory back. Look for another territory. Unless you want to fight to the death like in Jurassic Fight Club, obviously.
And T-Rex wins this fight and takes the title of champion of all land dinosaurs. Are we off? Okay. Whew. Good thing the folks at home can't smell this. These guys stink.
And that is the end of the video. It's quite amazing to see Brightside just slowly getting worse and worse after this video. At least Brightside has that iconic narrator, so a bunch of points for that. But anyway, this is my re-review of this video. Thank you guys for watching, hope you enjoyed it, and I'll see you all in the next one.